In-season practice, getting some guys back. Kenyon Green was able to get back into full speed work. Roster's shaping up. As far as the game, we're going to play some of the guys a little bit more, but the third preseason game is when we'll play the guys the most. I'm not going to get into how much every guy is going to play. You know, show up at the game and see that. But take your question. He's injured right now, and we'll just kind of say that he won't play this week.
With Kenyon being able to get out there and get his work in, would you like to see him, or are you all planning on playing?
Eventually, we'll get him out there. The biggest thing was to get him back into the mix. He missed a couple weeks, so we'll gradually, get him back into the full-time mix. But no issues, right on track. We'll see how it goes.
Lovie, you said on Sirius Radio yesterday he had a concussion. We asked a couple weeks ago, you didn't want to disclose it. Why didn't you want to disclose it then, but you disclosed it on Sirius?
I can't remember what I said then because it's a little late in the game. We're not trying to keep anything away from him. When he initially did it, I didn't talk about any of the thing. Now it's a little bit closer and he's back. That's why I did it. I'm not going to keep anything from you, all right? But when a player has an injury back then in training camp, I didn't go into detail on any of the injuries then. Now they're a little bit closer. I'm going into detail a little bit more. That's how we're going to handle it throughout. And if I don't say anything, I'm not trying to keep anything away from you. I just freaking didn't really even think about it, all right? Yes, and just as a general rule, I'm not going to talk about it too much. We're going to play some of them a little bit more, all right? A lot of these things we wait right up until. So to give you a heads up in the preseason, I don't think that make a whole lot of sense. He's practiced full speed. Eventually, he's going to play some this preseason.
With Jake Hansen, how have you seen him come up to the linebacker since he's getting?
Yeah, we have a couple of injuries. So that kind of, dictates a little bit how many reps you get. He has an injury. I won't go into detail on exactly what the injury is, but I'm talking about other guys before him a little bit. KPL, Kevin Pierre-Louis, as you can see that he hasn't been doing an awful lot. So then it's just about moving guys up on the depth chart.
What about Pharaoh Brown? Is it a vet day for him, or is he dealing with something as well?
He has there's no such thing as vet days. All of our vets, if a player isn't out here, he has some type of nagging injury. That's the case with Pharaoh. Hamstring is a little tight and kept him out for that reason.
Not to belabor the part about Kenyon Green, but the concussion thing, given that y'all wear those padded helmets and don't do a lot of contact, do you remember how exactly he would have suffered an injury like that? No,
but, it's not 100% wearing those covers. So of course, you're lessening the odds of getting a concussion, but nothing is 100% in football. There wasn't a big blow or anything like that. The game of football, there's no way we can eliminate concussions in our game. But you stay out, and eventually you get back clear. We've really taken our time with him. We make sure a guy is really ready to go, where there's no symptoms before we put him on the football field, and that's how we took it with him.
What's the challenge for a rookie that plays such a physical position like that inside, having missed some time trying to get him back up to speed? And what do you think about your depth there at that position with Max and Justin?
When a player goes down, I think it's a good thing to be able to work on your depth. Preseason games to be able to work on a lot of your depth. But as a young player, we want every young player to take every rep. It doesn't happen like that. But there's still time. Kenyon missed some time, but, we have, 2 more preseason games. Long as we get a player some action before, they've had a lot of practices. So it's not like, we're just throwing him out there cold turkey. We kind of like the way he's going. We've seen progress, which you would like to see from the rookie class. All of it. If you stay on the football field and you continue to just work hard, you're going to get better. That's what we've seen from Thomas. He has some good plays in the game. He's in practice. Anxious to see some of the young players, their second preseason game, and see how they do with it.
What are some of the biggest things you're looking for from this second preseason game?
Just improvement. The guys that played last week, set the bar then. Improvement. And the guys that didn't play last week, just to get them some game action. It's no more than that. We like to have a healthy crew after the game. And as I think I said, the third preseason game, we will play our guys that game. That's a game that we pinpoint. So again, just a little bit more improvement from this group.
What are you looking at when you do your running back room? Obviously, Damon Gibbs, the young guy who's kind of coming on strong. You got Marlon Mack, and you also have Rex Burkhead. But what are you looking for when you're trying to determine who's going to be that starter?
Oh, I think if you let guys play, they kind of tell you who should start, who should be on the roster, how many plays they should get. And last week, we've been going through, training camp practice. We've seen a lot. But to see guys finish, I thought that was a big game. Of course, we talked a lot about Damon. And then you have history a little bit, too, on what we've seen from some of the veteran players. It's good competition there. They all have a certain strength, and we'll let it play out.
Last one.
Lovie, Davis Mills gave an interview the other day. He said that it feels like the Texans are ready to shock the world. What does it mean to have that level of confidence? And does that feel like something you guys maybe could be capable of doing this year?
Well, okay, are we capable of winning this year? Now think about what you just had. All right, your quarterback. Yeah, I wouldn't have confidence. That's all he's really saying is that, guys, we've been working hard. I think we're a pretty good football team. And if we do well, you're not picking us to win much, right? I say no one here is. So it's going to probably be a shock if that happens. So I think it's no more than that. And you're the quarterback, you really have a pulse on what you're seeing each day. I think we're going to be pretty good this year. And if that happened, you could say that Lovie say we're going to shock the world because nobody's picking us. Isn't that how it goes? If we do well, what's the story? Is it going to be a shock to you if we do well? Yeah, I'll answer it for you. Yeah, it's no more than that. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whenever they target, I think there was one time where it wasn't completion. In terms of just being consistent, how do you go about being consistent?
Every time I come out here on the field, I give my hardest work. I work hard. I think it should improve even more this year because me and Davis got some good time in the offseason with all the receivers getting together and throwing. So, that's the biggest thing in the league. If you could be consistent, you could play for a long time.
What do you think about Davis and his progression in the second year?
I'm excited to see him. The biggest thing I like to see, too, is his leadership and how he's really taking control of this offense and just stepped up and is showing that he's the leader of this offense.
During the offseason, when you say that you and Davis got some work, what are some of the key things that you feel like y'all worked on or improved on that'll help you guys translate those?
It's a big thing. It's just timing. Most offenses are based off timing and trust between the quarterback and receiver. Like, he got to trust that I'm going to be in the spot that he expects me to be, and I got to trust that he's going to throw it there. So just consistently seeing each other be in those spots is going to help a lot.
Like you little complement each other in terms of different styles and those different things, just moving kind of receivers.
I feel like all of our receivers complement each other. But, yeah, when you got two guys like that are that fast and like to just take the top off of defenses, it could be a dangerous threat out there for sure.
What stands out to you, I guess, about the schematic change, being in Pep Hamilton's offense this year? What stands out to you about the offense?
It's really going to be down to the identity that we're coming out as an offense on the field. We're going to establish that identity from week one, and we're just going to continue to try to grow on it and just show it every week.
How bad did you want that deep shot in the preseason game?
You want every single ball thrown to you. Like you said, I every time the ball's thrown to me, I'm trying to make a play. So I definitely want that back, but you can't harp on it. You just got to move to the next one and just kind of keep trying to make plays.
More explosive than last year with touchdowns. What do you think is this offense going to do that on a regular basis and really good offense that definitely gives you guys more chances for that?
I definitely think as long as we go out there and execute the plays, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to execution, and if we execute the plays, there's going to be chances for us to make them big plays. And when they do happen, we got to just take advantage of them, and that's really what it comes down to.
We're good? Yeah. Thanks for your appreciation.
That was a good one.
feel very comfortable. We put in a lot of work this offseason, physically, mentally, and as far as our unit, Weeks and Cam, second to none, man. They really have a great attention to detail, and they make my job very easy.
Once you mention how much you've grown in the 7 years you've been as a player, an athlete.
It's a great question. I think every year I learn so much with every game, with every year especially. I just try and get better at the things that highlighted me last season. Try to grow physically, and then I think a lot of kicking is mental. So always trying to get to that next level mentally, visualization, and I've enjoyed the journey.
Are you surprising yourself even now in any way?
Surprising myself? No, it's just a continual curiosity for the game of kicking, game of life, and it's a more holistic view. But like I said, enjoy the journey.
What's it like working with John Weeks?
Oh, he's a legend. It's fun to come to work with him every day. He's a great example for our team, for our unit, for us as specialists. 13 years he's been doing it, and I strive to be like him every day.
Does consistency amaze you?
It does. Yeah, he's a perfectionist, and it's fun to watch every day. His margin of error is so small, and it's something I measure to be up to. Yeah.
Distance and watching it again.
Yeah. Obviously, I wanted that one. The long kicks are always fun. Definitely learned something from it, and I'll bring that into the regular season, or whenever I get that attempt again. Looking forward to the next one.
You go back, obviously it's just a preseason game, go back to LA, volleyball.
Yep.
Do you have people keeping there, or what's the feeling like going back to that?
Yep.
No NFL kicker?
Yeah, a little second home. Can't forget about the islands, of course. SoFi will be fun. I haven't been there yet, so it'll be fun to kick in that environment. Cool. Yeah, you too. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Progress
Yeah, I think I'm definitely making some progress. Obviously, a lot left in the bone. I think in terms of, my get off, which is what I emphasize, is being aggressive and getting off the rock. I think I was pretty good with that, but I want to come out with lower body attitude, be a more natural pass rusher, be able to, see those run pass keys a little bit quicker so I can make more of an effect from a quarterback on a consistent basis. But, it's somewhere to start out from. But I think a lot of my teammates were really, really encouraging, letting me know that this is really just, an extension of practice. What you do here with the habits that you install in yourself here are going to show up in a big time, in a big way on game day.
Did you say lower body attitude?
Yeah.
Can you define what that is?
Yeah, so for me, I think the thing that I do a lot of the time is I'll get out low, my first step, and then once I get contact, my pads will raise sometimes. So being able to drill myself on being able to keep that, lower body attitude in that way, that's what the word means to me. I don't know if there's a formal definition for it. That might have just been a little catchphrase that I just made up, but yeah.
Tell us that you don't play the same position, but Derek Stingley's on your side of the ball. What's it been like watching him from where you sit right now?
You said Derek Stingley?
Derek Stingley, right.
Yeah, no, I think he's a guy that works extremely hard, obviously physically talented, and, guy just goes to work. Doesn't say too much. He's just focused on his craft. So I always respect that because I try to embody that as well. At the end of the day, what matters is what you put out between these lines, and that's going to show up again on game day. So I think he's preparing the right way and doing everything to a high standard.
Malik Collins, and what are some of the tips that you get for that early that?
Yeah, no, it's super helpful. Malik is like a physical freak. The way that he moves, the smoothness of his pass rush, the way that he always chains moves together, is something that I really want to get to at some point and that I'm working for. I think the big point for me that he's given is just don't think as much. Just go. It's a defense that prioritizes penetration and disruption. So, the more you're thinking, the less you're going to be penetrating and doing that. So that's a big point that he's given me. But, all the vets, Ross, Derek Rivers, all those guys are giving me really, really good pointers to help me progress my game quicker.
Is it not different from college? I see you doing a lot of handwork and rip moves and stuff. So how much more importance does that take on here in the NFL?
Yeah, so I played in a different system, partially in college. I was playing in the 3-4. I was playing a lot more 4-eye technique, so I was head up on tackles. So in a system where I'm more of in a shaded technique, either a 1 technique or a 3 technique, that handwork of being on the edge is so much more important to be able to maintain your gap and everything. So kind of melding the hands with the get off and all that, and being penetrated and disrupted, but also controlling O linemen. It's a big thing versus when I was in college where I really just had to come out and hit people with my hands already. So big point of focus for me coming from college.
What do you think about going back to the West Coast of Atlanta?
Man, it's nice. SoCal is a different breed than Northern California. I'm sure that Southern California people will tell you that. But I'm super excited to get back out there. Played a couple games down there at the Rose Bowl and all that. So it's always a great place to be in sunny Southern California.
With your background, Campbell guy, last year you did at Stanford. How much does the academics that you did help you as a football player here?
Yeah, so I think the big thing that I've taken, so I throughout college, both football-wise and academic-wise, I had like an iPad that I would write on with notes. So I kind of carried that on to the league. I treat all my meetings like classroom sessions, because that's kind of what it is. You're studying yourself. So I try to keep those study habits the same way. So during our meetings, I take notes on what everybody's saying, and then when I go back to the hotel room or whatever, I go take a look over the tape again for like 45 minutes to an hour and just go down and write everything that I could have done better.
Is there a sample note you can tell us, just not strategy-wise, but just sort of what comes to mind?
Yeah. So one that comes to mind for me is just like, for example, when I'm rushing the B-gap, a lot of the time I feel like I don't take enough steps upfield. So I'm not really selling that guard on the fact that I'm going to be rushing outside so I can come inside. So that's one of the things I write down a lot that I'm still working on. But to be honest, I probably write down 10 to 15 things every day. I try to underline 3 or 4 of them because I know that I can't focus on 10 to 15. I don't have that much mental bandwidth, but I try to focus on 3 or 4.
Did you learn that on your own? Did you imitate what somebody else taught you in terms of taking those casual copious notes, that kind of stuff?
Nah, so that was the thing that I did in college. I think once you get to the college level and the professional level, you got to look at ways to separate yourself. And one of those ways is how you look at yourself, how you're a student of the game. And it doesn't just come to looking at other people's tape and the opponent's tape, but it comes to critiquing yourself on top of what the coach is doing. Because when you're going into coaching sessions, the meetings and all that, you're looking at everyone's tape, which is great, but you really have to dial down on your own stuff. And sometimes when I have trouble with something, I'll go look at Malik and I'll go see what he's doing and try to implement some of that into my game. So yeah, just really becoming a student and critique of your own game.
You said Malik?
Yeah, Malik Collins, yeah.
Have you and the rookies that played in last Saturday's game, have you guys discussed sort of exchange notes on what that was like just playing in your first game?
Yeah. I talked to Kurt Hinish about it for sure. And I think one of those deals where, as a freshman in college, before I got into my first game, you have those jitters about, all right, will I be able to do what I did at the previous level of this one? I think a similar thing happens. I wasn't as nervous this time because, you get your confidence in the practice field. So I think that I've progressed, day over day, week over week with the help of all the guys in the D-line throughout that time. So just try to come out there and treat it like a much more formal version of practice. You're doing the same thing, you're applying the same technique. Don't let everything go out of the window just because you're playing somebody else with different colors on. Yeah.
All good?
Thank you. Appreciate it.